Radical.
All right, here we go. Meineke is expensive as FOOK, part 2. And I could also call this car repair stories. Would that be a series, maybe? I mean, hell, I got a lot of car repairs coming up, so I have flea market stories, so maybe car repair, probably not, but we'll see. So I got my 94 Central back, and they put on the O2 sensor. To put on the O2 sensor, and my apologies if I went over some of this in the part 1. I can't remember what I went over, but I have some new things to add. Right under $300. I don't have the receipt with me, but apparently the part was $180 for the oxygen sensor, which I'm going to call bullshit on because I think that same part, I think it's maybe $40. And I might be wrong here, but I damn sure can tell you it's not $180 because I have an 06 Sentra and that part was $94. So I think there's a double charge on the part there. And here's how I know they got it from the part place, is because I called back and I said, well, if you don't have the part, I can go get the part and I can bring it there. Now, the downside is they don't warranty a part that you bring to them. They have to go get it. So maybe the warranty is factored in there, but yeah, damn, $180 for a oxygen sensor. That car thankfully only has one oxygen sensor, so $180. And then I'm looking at it. There's a tax. There's maybe a rubber shroud or something they had to use on it. Anyways, it was sketchy how it got to $300, but I went with that. And I declined, and I had on my receipt, I declined some other things. Somehow, they had on there that I declined spark plugs. But I had a sheet that I made for them saying all the things that I recently had put into that car and replaced. And spark plugs would be that. So I was really kind of scratching my head there, why the hell spark plugs on here, huh? So be careful when you go to these places. Make sure to decline the things and make it very straightforward that you don't want all the things that they might be putting on your car because they could be, doing jobs that you really don't need, like the spark plugs. And then there's 2 other jobs, which would be the distributor replacement, which, no lie, I think I was quoted about $700 or $800. My apologies, I don't have the exact number here, but damn, for a distributor install $700 to $800. The part itself, again, what I can get for it, what I can get it at a local parts place would be $274 for the distributor. I didn't look around. Maybe I could get it for less. So the whole distributor, including the cap and whatnot, $274. So I'm taking a wild guess. They're getting it from the same places I'm getting it at, and they're going to double or triple whatever charge it is, up to $800 to install it. So the oxygen sensor, if you're wondering, it's in the front of the engine. It takes no time because I've seen one actually put in. It takes no time to put in. And somehow the labor was $70 to screw in a sensor. $70 sounds like you're getting screwed for $70. But this distributor, honestly, a little bit more to it. I know you have to line up the distributor. You got to put the spark plugs on the distributor and everything. But the idea that that's going to be over $300 to put on a distributor is just fucking bullshit. It's fucking bullshit, man. Okay, so you can see now the Meineke is definitely expensive as fuck. Some more positives. I will say that the shop owner, very nice. They're all very nice. They're all very nice. That's what I'll say. But maybe they're very nice because they're fucking overcharging like crazy. And they have all this extra money from all the overcharging of people. Maybe that's why they're smiling and they're so nice, And lastly, this is the big kahuna. $2,400 would be the timing chain job. Yeah, you heard me correctly. $2,400 for a timing chain job. Now, they would go to get the timing chain, of course. That'd be included. I know there's a kit, a local parts place again, $300, a little under $300 for the entire kit. But, to them, might be closer to $700-800, with their warranty that's included, I suppose. So then you're looking at, he talked about hours. My apologies. I think I did actually go over some of this. Did I? Oh, well, fuck it, Maybe to some of you that didn't catch the first upload, this will be a good little recap for you. That's a lot of money there for the timing chain job. And I'll tell you exactly how I know that's a lot of money in a little bit. Once I segue into, I'm not going to make a separate upload, which is a dirt cheap mechanic story, which is going to be following right this. No wait, no separate upload. Dirt cheap mechanic story is going to follow right after this. One big positive I will say is the fact when I went in there that there was this woman that was a little bit heavyset, maybe a little bit. And I say woman, but maybe like in her mid-20s, I'm not sure. So she had the biggest amount of cleavage I think I'd ever seen humanly possible. Like, might as well not even been wearing like a shirt. It was so low cut. It was like a tank top, but literally like you could see more bra than you could shirt. And I tried my best. She was a pretty bigger woman too. She was pretty, curvy, like one of them nice thick women, right? I was trying my best as I was talking to her not to look at her gigantic melons, and you would be proud of me. I didn't. I did not look directly at them. But even when I was looking in her eyes, you could still see them because they just took up the whole frame. And I'm going to skip over the conversation. This is a decent conversation with her I had, but she had a boyfriend, and she said he's a great boyfriend because he's going to get a vasectomy. And she said she has weight gain because of birth control. She didn't mention Hostess or Twinkies and whatnot. Maybe that's the case. I'm not sure. But it's okay. Like I said, it works for her. Because some women, they look a little bit better with some weight because it just goes to all the right places. But she said that he's such a sweetie and he's going to get a vasectomy. I think he's probably just like pulling her along. I think he's probably not going to get a vasectomy. I think he just likes the melons and he's going to say whatever he has to say. I just don't think that's happening. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think he's probably just telling her what she needs to hear about that. And here we go. Now I'm going to segue into the dirt cheap mechanic. As we listen to some cherry poppin' daddies in the background. This CD I think is called Zoot Suit Riot. Great CD. I might hold on to this one. It's very, very nice. So my uncle recommended me to this guy who I actually recommended to someone else. They needed an oxygen sensor also, so they went there that day. He only charged them $20 to put an oxygen sensor in. Only $20. And I was just shocked. I was thinking, so it wasn't $300 like it was Meineke? Because, like I said, it's just a screw. That makes sense. That makes sense. With a dirt cheap mechanic, it makes sense because they're not going to shit you. They're going to be like, well, let's just got to do this, screw it in, a couple minutes. Okay, $20, right? It's fair. That his time was worth $20. I think it took him 10, 15 minutes to check everything, put that oxygen sensor in for my friend. So I was like, already, this is awesome. And then I get there and I say, I recommended you, who was recommended me from my uncle, to someone else. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. So I let him know that I was going to drive business his way. I took off a distributor from the decommissioned 94 Sentra, the parts car, which was a bitch to get to that last bolt behind. If you've ever taken a distributor off, and if you don't have the right tools, it can be a bitch to get it off. I didn't have the right set of tools. I did not. But I still made it work. I got it off. Everything went easy except that rear bolt. And I was being really careful not to, when you're ratcheting, a lot of sharp parts in the engine. I didn't want to hurt my hand or anything like that because I did have my trusty glove that I used for Show Off Saturdays, so that might have been a little helpful there, but I didn't have that for some reason. I got that distributor off. Meineke told me that I needed a distributor and then the oxygen sensor, which they put in, and my timing needed to be adjusted. So I said, okay, we're going to go to this guy. We're going to find out what the real deal is and how much these items actually cost. Like I said, he put in an oxygen sensor for $20. They provide the part, but he put it in for $20. I went there. I told him what the car was doing. basically just running really bad. Acceleration was poor, acting like it wanted to shut off. So he said, okay, well, distributor, there's a crack in your distributor, so we'll start there. Now, this day was very rushed because I got called into work for some overtime, which was between 1 to 6 that morning. I actually had a prior appointment to pick up some CDs, box CDs at Goodwill because, I didn't want to pay the shipping. Saved some money right there on it. Shipping is a big part of the cost at Goodwill when you're getting things on Goodwill. So if at all possible, if your local one actually has the stuff you can pick up, go ahead and pick it up if it's not too far away from you. And like I said, I went to work at 1 to 6. I dropped it off around 12, I want to say, there. Many, many, many positives with this mechanic. There's too many to list. I don't know if I'll get to all the positives, but I dropped it off there at 12. Really no awareness, no prior warning that I stopped by. I said, hey, here's the deal. I got this. I understand if it'll take you till tomorrow because it's short notice. I noticed he was working on a car in one of his bays, but I'll drop this off with you. I got a distributor that I pulled off, and it should still be fine because the head gasket blew in this other car, but this was just the distributor, so it was not connected. And I told them about the other issue, the timing issue. They said, okay, well, I'll put a distributor on for you. We didn't talk about pricing or time or whatnot, but he said he'd probably be done by the time I got off of work. He called me about like 4:30. He was done at 4:30, and he said, I'm all ready to go. So I got there maybe around 6:50, 6:55, something like that. Here's another big positive with this dirt cheap mechanic. Not only is he dirt cheap, but he stays open late. 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock for a mechanic? That is insanely late. He opens at 9, stays open till 8. Man, that is freaking convenient. That is freaking convenient, man. I love that. And he's also open on Saturdays. A mechanic that's open on Saturdays and open, I don't know if he's open till 8 on Saturdays, but damn, I would hope he wouldn't be. Close at least early on Saturdays, man. Hardworking guy. I could tell that, So I got back there, started up, and it didn't sound a whole lot better, but I needed a distributor on there. I needed it on there. So, okay. I didn't pay anything for the distributor because I got it off the other car. Don't have anything invested in it. What I'm going to tell you is going to shock you. It's going to shock you because it shocked me. We talked about some things that were needed on the car. And he talked about how he could do an SR20 swap. I complimented his ride, which was I don't know if he had a scat pack, but it was a V8 Charger. Crimson red. Looked really freaking nice. This car I'd like to own. It was very, very, very nice. And since it's a Dodge, if you're a mechanic, you can work on them when they freaking fail. Just saying Dodge is not the most reliable vehicles, but they look nice and they're freaking fast. He said, if I had mine tuned with the SR20 and maybe a light turbo, I could, and he might've been joking. He didn't look like he was joking. He said, I could outrun his V8 Charger. I could. Because it's such a light car. He says, yeah, you can tune this. You can tune this to outrun mine. Yeah. I was like, damn, man. Made me smile ear to ear. I'm like, damn, I could take a V8 Charger and stuff. Wow. It's crazy. Again, I don't think he was joking. I don't think he was. Because that particular car, that B13, and he is Hispanic, there's a big culture in Mexico around that particular car, the B13. I mean, yes, Civics, Corollas, but yeah, look it up. I mean, there's a lot of people that have modified those B13s. And I'm not talking about like tacky racing modifications, like really legit fast race type cars they've turned that particular car into. And I don't know if I'm going to go that particular way with it, but it's nice to know that he sees the potential in a particular vehicle. And he says he could do the SR20 swap for me, but I would need to get harnesses and all that kind of stuff. But sorry, I'm venturing away from my point or what I'm talking about there. He is dirt cheap. And not only that, but he takes cars on little notice. And he's open late. I'm just going over all the positives I can think about. He has a know-how to do a lot of what I would want done, maybe like an engine swap at one day. He says he can put turbos on, all that kind of stuff. So he dabbles into a lot of that stuff. Some shops don't dabble into those advanced type things, or they choose not to. So the timing job, he says, it makes sense that I would need a timing chain. That's what Meineke said. We didn't get into pricings, but it didn't seem like the way he was going to say, like, that's a big job. This guy, like, just looked at me like, maybe like a day or two. A day or two, I could do that. I could work that in. Now, they quoted at Meineke, it would be 10 hours of labor for that job. And I don't know how long it would take him. Maybe he doesn't have the same resources like maybe like a Meineke does. I'm not sure. But I'm getting a feeling like it would not be in the thousands he would charge me. It would be in the hundreds for a timing chain job. In the hundreds. I would be shocked if he even charges me more than $600-700 for it. I'm supplying the parts, so he might go like $1,000 for the timing chain job. So what I'm going to do is, when he does a timing chain job, I'm going to be very friendly, and I'm going to go back to Meineke, and I'm going to talk about how it's running great, running perfect, and it took this guy a day or two. And I'm not going to talk about who it is. I'll just say, like, okay, this one shop took him a day or two, and it's the same difference I'm getting here. Your pricing is outrageous, I'm going to tell him. I said, you guys have know-how, you have quality service. There's a lot of positives to my experience at the Meineke. I got a survey to actually do a survey, and I'm going to fill it out maybe online, send it back to them. But there is no way that there could be this much of a price difference for the same exact fucking job between one place and another place. Since there is a problem going on here.